Damn. How do I look?
And we are live at the 7:30 hour, waiting for our guest host, Mark Allen, to arrive.
We just didn't want to be late for you guys because we're really here for you, not Mark. Even though, like, I'm completely fanboying right now. You know that we're live and you keep on walking in front of the camera. Yeah, Ryan. It's all right. This is, by the way, we're in a studio right now just to give you guys some proximity. And Alex is our media guy, and Alex also is the clumsiest person that I know. So imagine, have you guys seen the movie? Gosh, Tom Cruise is in it, Mission Impossible, and there's all the lasers and everything. That's basically what the studio looks right now. There's cameras, microphones, cords everywhere, and it's pitch black. And then there's also this like crazy offsetting light to make it very challenging to see where you're at. So bright. And then Alex is trying to move around. He's all tangled in the cords, and it's just the best way to start the day. Just having a panic attack, knowing that Alex could just crush all of our dreams with one cord touch.
With one stomp of his foot, he could unplug all of the electrical circuits.
It feels like that sometimes hanging out with Alex. It's an adventure, let me say. And the best part about it is we're about to go to Europe again. And to give you guys some context,
here's that passport right now. Like place it with you in your shoe that you don't touch.
Where's your passport? We're having a conversation about this. Do you know where your passport is right now?
Yeah, I'm very organized now. It's in this folder.
You should have it wrapped around your neck at all times.
Shower
in
with
the shower. Yeah. When you make love, never take it off. Women will try to make love to you to distract you, to take it. That's what happens in every movie is the prostitute like sleeps with you and then the pimp comes in and takes the wallet. Or in your case, the passport.
The passport.
First of all, what are you doing hanging out with prostitutes?
He's got to get a waterproof sleeve for the passport, and he's going to use it nonstop.
Yeah. So earlier this year, we went Dubai, Cyprus, London, Barcelona, back to London, and then home. Alex somehow got I think he may have missed his flight from Dubai. He missed our taxi to Barcelona. He ended up in Paris at one point. It's very hard to keep track of this guy. Ryan, give us an update. What have you been up to? I feel like you've been quiet the last two shows because there's been so much momentum.
There has been a lot of momentum. Had kind of a crazy Friday going on.
What's going on, bud? Tell us about it.
I got to, much like you, I didn't wake up in the back of an ambulance, but I did get to see from point of view from an ambulance on my way to the hospital.
They took you in an ambulance?
Yeah, I couldn't control my heart rate. My heart rate was going up and then down and then up, and it wasn't even keel, and I wasn't working out. I was on some stimulants that were prescribed to me, but
like no explode.
Yeah, it felt like that. Like I thought back to what was that movie, The Transporter or something, and he's falling from the sky, and his heart is going crazy, and he's getting ready to he's skydiving.
You know that same actor's in the movie, I think it's called Crank, where he's like,
that's Jason Statham. Yeah. That's what I felt like. I was driving in the car 80 miles an hour, swerving in and out of lanes, like on the the double yellows. I was in the other lane on the double yellow. I flew through a red light. Like the cars were parked to get to the med clinic. Yeah. Because while on that drive, the 5-minute drive, on a My Zone chart, you know how it goes like gray, which is just warming up, all the way to yellow and then red. I went from gray to yellow in about a 5-minute range, and it went from my heart rate of like 80 up to like 149 where it peaked, and I just kept going, trying to like spark something. I don't know. I was thinking back to that movie Crank, and I was like, what did he do while skydiving? I was just coughing. I don't know.
These movies are dangerous for kids and Ryan. So you're telling me, I mean, you also may have just had a really jacked up heart rate because you were driving like a crazy person.
I think see, and the other thing, they kept asking me these questions like, was your heart hurting? And now I don't know, when I don't know. I think it's a mental thing because is it really hurting or is it what's going on? I think every test that they ran, I was all in the green. So they kept asking me questions. Was it hurting? And it wasn't. It was just rapid beating. So I think it was more of a panic attack than anything. But I also had like a non-control of the heart rate going on, which was the scariest part. So I pulled through the red light. I put the car almost on two wheels. I could hear it screeching. And then I was left, right into the parking lot. I just parked in the middle of the road. So one lady was like, do you want me to go park your car? I was like, yeah, I can't move. I need to. And then one lady was like, what's your address? I was like, I don't give a care about my address. Yes, I've been here before. You need to help me. So I'm done. I threw all medications away. You know, it was something that was like, oh, this will help me wake up in the morning and this will help me get going. I think there's very easily can find other ways to do that.
If you want a gift, I will just send you a trash can.
Yeah.
I don't want to buy like some of these more expensive companies. Not that I like think that there's anything wrong with them, but I'll just be real with you. It's not entirely worth the money. But
Yeah.
I'll just buy you one of those ice containers that you can just get in the cold water. And I recognize a handful of months ago that me getting in the water, freezing cold water to start out the day, not a cold shower, like a full immersion, jump in the pool. You don't have to do breath work and X amount of time. You just get in and holy crap, you do not need any coffee. You don't need anything. You were just exploding, full of life.
Wow.
And like I feel like $1,000,000. My typical start to my day is I wake up, I hike up the hill to my pool, I jump in the water, and then I come back down. And it's just like this kind of thing where I'm not on my phone and typically the pool is pretty cold now. It's summertime. It's not the same. But I also will do the same thing in my backyard at the cabin. And I just jump in the ice bath in the morning and I'm like, damn, this is really nice. And it just resets me.
Yeah.
I typically will go to Starbucks and I'll buy one of these small little things and I'll only finish about half of it. It's more of like a repetitive thing. And then I have tea full of honey. So I don't know.
I will say it was like one of the most. I'm still like processing it because I was screaming at the top of my lungs. It was the most traumatic thing that I've ever been through.
I'm sorry.
I know you laughed.
What were you screaming at?
I didn't know what was happening. It was like I was sprinting and I could see the heart rate going faster and faster and faster, and I wasn't doing anything.
Of course, you're sprinting.
I had my heart rate. No, I wasn't sprinting. I was in my car. Yeah. I'm still like processing like the traumatic 5-minute drive. Like I still can't fully like think back to it because I'm afraid that like, I'm gonna freak out again.
I should practice being more empathetic with people because I haven't gone through that. But I'll tell you a funny story if it makes you feel any better.
Yeah, well, can you tell me about the time where you're like, I thought I OD'd and didn't want to freak out my parents, so I flew back from Miami to wherever I was. So
you really want to unpack this story right now?
I mean, I feel like I just discussed my most traumatic experience that I've ever had. Like the night before leading into that, I would move my leg. I had to lay down for like 2 hours. I had to lay while laying down, if I move my leg like a certain any type of way, left or right, my heart rate would go from like 80 to like 120. And I was like, I just need to lay here. Yeah, in bed. That's what was crazy.
Yeah, dude. I think you were just your body was just way out of whack. It's the same thing when I'm overtrained. I think your body was just overstimulated. Dylan, good morning. So good to see you. I was I was wearing one of your house hoodies this morning, and I freaking love it. The one with the little pony guy. Alex Stonich, set up Chomo. Okay, so let's just get into the story. And I'm going to share it, even though this is a very interesting time to like link this in if Mark ever does show up. So, God, this is actually when I was like fanboying over Mark the most because I was trying to create significance in my life and I was really struggling to. I still had a lot of connections from my days when I was modeling, and I just knew so many wealthy people in Miami, and I was invited to go to a birthday party. And my buddy Danny, who's now passed away since, it was his birthday party, and he passed away from drugs, and I was on the path too. So I went out there, and one of the wealthier individuals we were hanging out with just bought everybody 8 balls of cocaine, which is a pretty sizable dose. I mean, you're looking at, we've got a cop listening in on the show. It's a pretty thick bag, probably about like a third the size of an 8 ball of cocaine, maybe a little less. And we just kept on doing cocaine all night long. And we were doing it, and I just was insatiable. Like, I just loved doing it. And I kept on getting deeper and deeper. And there's details of the story that I'll share with you that are not meant for this podcast. But so it's the end of the night, and everybody's like, I'm done. And I'm like, I'll take it. So I started taking people's stuff. And by the time I had laid down in bed, it was like around 5 or 6 in the morning, and the sun was just about to rise, or was rising. And my heart was like what you're saying, just like thump, 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 and I'm drenched in sweat. And I'm just laying down. I'm completely flat, and I can feel the pain in my chest, like elevating. And I'm exhausted too, because I've been drinking like crazy and partying like crazy. Like, I could just feel this.
Like, you're so tired that with that tiredness, you should be able to sleep, but you can't because your heart rate is just.
Yeah. And it was so weird. Like, it was this divergence of life where all of a sudden, like, my body was shutting down, and like my brain was so stimulated from these drugs that basically I was completely out of whack. And somehow I passed out. And then I woke up, and that's where things started to get bad. Like, I think my body started to reject the amount of drugs that I was on. I was now freezing cold, and I was in a hot shower, throwing up and trembling, and I kept on passing out. And my friends just kept on trying to put water in me over and over and over again. And I just kept on throwing up, passing out.
Drink water?
Yeah. Because I was like, now, like, expelling everything from my body. My core temperature was not like reacting well. And like, I was only probably, I don't know how much energy left until like I went into full shock. And my body was rejecting the amount of drugs. I had inhaled grams upon grams of cocaine. And basically at that point, now it was like 11 o'clock in the morning, and my friends were like, dude, you need to get out of the house, and we need to try to get you some food. And I then went down to a Mexican restaurant. I cannot remember the name of it, but it was on Alton Street, like the main street in South Beach. And I ordered the food, and I remember the food coming out like as I ordered it, and I just walked away into the bathroom. I was like, oh God, something's gonna happen. So I go into the bathroom, and I pass out before I know what happens. And I wake up, and there's just blood and throw up all over the floor. I popped, the blood vessels in my nose, and I threw up, and I passed out in it. And now I had like a couple like shitty towels, like paper towels, and I was like trying to like wipe throw up and blood off the ground. And the door opens, and I look back, and I'm just like, and I'm like looking at another guy, and he's looking down at me, and I'm like, ah. And at that point, I took the remaining couple $100 I had to my name, and I changed my flight early back to my to LA, because I was like, dude, if I do end up getting hospitalized, which I was right on the verge of, if I do end up getting hospitalized and my family finds out that I was down in Miami doing drugs, when I was like promising my family, like, I was like, I'm on a new career path. Like, I'm going to be a pro athlete. I promise. And they wanted me to go back to school, and like, this was it. And then a week later, I had to go race the 2 prior existing world champions, Hobie Call and Cody Moat. And my heart nearly like tore in half during that race. I felt chest pains I have never felt to this day. Like, I still had strained myself in a way that prior weekend, and I was racing now, just like stretching the fibers of my heart. And
I think mine still feels a little bit strained and stressed. I think it'll recover, but it's just like there's like tings every once in a while.
Yeah, dude. It's pretty crazy. Like, I think you can definitely strain your heart the same way you can strain a muscle. I just started a new training program like a couple years ago before High Rocks World Championships. I did a 20 rep back squat program, and my legs, like the way that they look, the vascularity that I have has changed since that program. It was probably the most drastic and beneficial program that I've ever done. Now I'm studying. I've studied another method for a long time, and I've used it sporadically, but I really now I'm putting it in specifically to my training cycle, and it's all about maximal intensity. So you do one movement into the next. It's kind of like a monster set where you do legs, and then I did pull upper body. So I did back squats into like weighted back extensions into calf raises, and time under tension I was probably like 6 to 8 minutes on my legs. And
Is
then
this the same thing as like a giant set to where you're doing 3 different exercises back to back to back, or
yeah,
monster
it's
set?
just max reps.
Yeah.
I think I got at 255, I did 13 reps on back squat, which I could have done a lot more. I just was I wanted to I didn't I should have gone heavier to start. And then I did back extensions with 2 plates in my hands, and I did a bunch of reps, and then I did calf raises, and I did some isometrics with those. And my body is so wrecked from doing that. Like, I can only imagine, like, we're talking about the heart. I'm like, yeah, you could definitely do that to your heart. Because I just, my ass, like, if I stand up, my ass is completely like paralyzed from the amount of work that I did yesterday.
Well,
Like, you could do that through drugs, I'm assuming.
yeah.
God, it was a special day. I'm really excited about the training program I'm on right now. I'm literally going, we got the Starvation Triathlon this weekend. I've been doing crazy amounts of volume.
That's the 28th, right? Like Friday.
It's 29th.
The 29th. It starts at like 4 AM on the 29th, though, right?
Woo, I'm scared. Dude, I got
seeing a lot of front. I've been seeing a lot of the front grundle of Austin, like pose like this up in his little tri suit. I think
Austin's not
Alex
even training. I think he's just doing hoochie daddy stuff. He just wants.
He's got his tri suit on, and Alex made that the thumbnail, and it's got a full bulge. It's like, okay, here we go. Show it off, ladies.
Yeah.
Show it off, little ladies. He looks good.
He does look good. I'm happy for him. He's really been working his body. Alex has not been working his body.
I saw him in a Barbie showcase, though. He was looking he's looking good.
Dude, you know what's hysterical is all these people come train at the cabin, and Alex, who's not even an athlete, I mean, he's a really great rollerblader, just wrecks all of them. Like,
the first time that I went out with you guys, he was running in New Balances. And they were like 10-year-old New Balances that were torn on the soles, and he's keeping up with you running at the top of the group, and me and Dylan are taking our time to catch up to you. He had a calf strain at that time.
Dude, he's a wild man. Like, I'll take him on some of my hardest rides, and he just gets it done. Like, I'll loop back and get him, but he never stops, which is crazy. Like, it's definitely a mental thing. It's definitely. Mike Sauce.
I asked him after. I was like, dude, are you running in New Balances that looks like the sole is kind of torn? He goes, yeah, it's the only shoes I had. I was like, you were ahead of everyone.
He just got a new pair of Hokas. I was like, damn, like, I should have gifted him some Hokas. Tito Lopez, if you're trying to get up to the cabin, dude, you got to show us you got what it takes to get to the cabin. I think what I'm going to do, I am going to put like another message out there. And last year, everyone was such pussies about it. Like, I don't get what you guys are holding off for. I bought this cabin so that people can come in and put in hours and train. And I offer it. I say, people, come fly in. Like, I've got an athlete flying in from Marbella in September to come train with me. Like, people.
Marbella.
What's that? One of the girls from the Elite 15. Marbella, Spain. Yeah, so I have a couple of girls from the Elite 15 coming in September. Like, I'm going to put something out there where I want athletes that are in that like 60 and sub 60 range to come out and come train at the training camp. Like, I'm trying to break 52 minutes this year. I want some people to help push me in my runs. I want some people to help push me in my lifts. I need some cyclists. Like, you guys can stay for free. Just come put the work in. And like, if you guys can't hang, like, let's just be real. It's not worth your time. It's not worth my time. You're just going to get the shit kicked out of you. But if you're in that, like, the cusp of being Elite 15, like, you should really make the move to come on out. Like, I'd be pumped. Tito, I shoot photos. I take some shots of the work. I don't know what that means, Tito, but we are pumped. Mike, Yeah,
South.
Austin's riding a piece of shit bike, and I also think that he's using only about 2 of his brain cells to train for this thing. I was like, "Dude, like, what the fuck? Like, did you not Google what a triathlon is?" He's like, "Yeah, man. I think I'm gonna," and I was like, "Bro, this is the hardest triathlon in the world. Like, you don't have to finish it per se, but to show up and put yourself at a disadvantage the way that he is the question."
Why do you say he's putting himself at a disadvantage?
I mean, dude, he showed up and his handlebars were completely almost upside down. And I was like, "Austin, like, you're in your 30s. Like, you just need to look and see what it's like to assemble a bicycle, brother. Like, you just gotta think here." And he's like, "Oh, you know." And I was like, "Bro, like, this is coming for you, and it ain't gonna be nice." Like,
Yeah.
I'm even worried about Austin getting time capped before he gets out of the water. Like, that's a serious concern of mine. And
But I see him swimming a lot.
yeah, listen, I'm just telling you my honest concerns. I want him to succeed.
Yeah.
I want him to succeed. I was the one who bought him the fucking ticket. I'm like, "Homie, like, you're my bro and you're my partner. Let's crush this thing."
I remember.
Mike's got another question about Highwalks prep. Should I start from the beginning of June 12th and wait for the current Lean and Mean Challenge to end?
Okay, so June 12th was the start. So we had Ultimate Engine from January 2nd to June 12th. June 12th started Lean and Mean. So he's saying, do I go back to June 12th, which was the start of Pro
I wouldn't go backwards.
Performance?
I wouldn't go backwards. You know, I think one thing I'll tell anybody who's just like listening to this and wants High Rocks training, I think one-on-one coaches are great. We do one-on-one coaching, but I think if you guys just want to get in at like a pretty cheap level, just watch all of our videos and see what we talk about. And then if you're even more interested, you should just sign up for our pro program, which is a full-blown schedule throughout the entire year to get you ready for High Rocks World Championships. It's a thing I designed, periodization for the sport of High Rocks. I don't even think anybody who competes in High Rocks knows what the word periodization means, let alone the coaches that are involved in it. And like, it sucks because like, I don't want people to be shitty at this thing. I think we all need to get better to elevate themselves. But man, like, fucking, you got to have a schedule if you want to compete at these things at high level. Like, I think especially when you get into sports like what I've been doing with Ironmans and stuff, you realize the importance of specificity and like the importance of just like building up volume and testing your body. And like, you have to do it. Like, you have to get involved in something and be scheduled, consistent, and really then push yourself. Like, I was watching Mark Allen's videos to get ready for our interview today. You should check the emails and see if he ever wrote back, by the way. Okay. Like, he talks about this like consistency of just like always like constantly showing up and finding a way just to push yourself a little bit more and then getting enough rest so that you can come back and do it again. That's the only thing that's going to get you ready to do better at these things. Tito's telling us about his orthopedic appointment at 8:30. He can be there in 2 or 3 hours. Tito, I don't know what the hell you're talking about, brother.
I come to the workout at the cabin. He wants to be a videographer. You're gonna have to take that up with Alex.
I don't know what you're on. Tito, you confused the shit out of me.
Bakersfield.
Yeah, what are you talking about here?
How does he know where exactly that cabin is?
Stefan, I would say Broken Skull Ranch is probably like the most interesting and probably the most like impressive thing that I did because I had the least tools in my shed to get that job done, and I still did it. And the fact that there was a television show and I was like always unaware of what I was going to compete in, it took a lot out of me mental preparation wise. And I think it definitely made me like very, very tough for the level of competition I'm at now. You know, I wish I showed up. The version of myself right now, if I went back there, I'd fucking wreck that version of Hunter and destroy, like literally turn them into single cell organisms and light them on fire, my competition.
Perspective on a perspective, like you were so skinny.
I know.
Let's be real. So skinny, and then you still dominated that much.
Yeah. I was it was like in a totally different version of myself. Yeah.
I think we're going to do an entire podcast on, I think we should. I mean, let us know in the comments, but I think we should do an entire podcast on like TV shows and the breakdown of what it looked like behind the scenes and what was it like. Because one of my heroes from watching WWF when it was at the time, back when I was in like 5th grade, you know, D-Generation X, Wolfpack, all those guys, was watching Stone Cold Steve Austin. And the fact that you got to hang out with him for days on end.
Dude, I could call Steve right now. He's still such a homie.
Yeah?
He's such a good guy. I really I can't even begin to tell you how cool of a person.
Do you think we could have him on the podcast?
He would come on an instant. I really have held off on some of the bigger people that I know in my network because I really wanted to establish our flow and learn our communication and also learn how to work with our audience and everything. Because the reason why I started Morningwood Radio is I've been podcasting. People don't know this. I started first podcast with Ben Greenfield back in 2013, 2014 maybe, but way back, 10 years ago almost. And then I was like, you know what? I really miss that. I miss sitting down and having thoughtful conversations and being able to engage in the community and having fun with it. Because posting pictures on Instagram and a reel is so flimsy. It's nothing. It's just it's a speck in time. This right here is this constant growing conversation that we're doing with our audience that we get to know better over time. And also I have this really fun network of people that I've accrued throughout the years. And some of them have nothing to do with athletics that I just want to chat with. People I think are interesting and people will learn from. Even I will learn from it. So I come in, I have to, on Sundays, I put myself together and I'm going to really think about this person and the value of the relationship that I have with them, the value that they can bring to the people who are listening. And it's fun. I had to relive the Mark Allen conversation with myself the past week because I was like, wow, I remember when I did this thinking about Mark, and I remember this race about him, and I remember thinking about this, and I was like, wow, this is so cool to go back into those thoughts. And I had so many interesting questions to ask him today. I was like, this is going to be amazing. It's sad that he's not here. I hope that
I just did a recheck and hit refresh, and he is not. I told 7:30 a.m. Pacific.
I think it might just be his age. No offense to you, Mark, but
is he on East Coast time?
No, he's in Santa Cruz.
Oh,
literally, I emailed and messaged this guy probably 10 times.
Yeah.
I don't blame him, dude. I fucked up before too. I found Hunter through what you did with Ben, OCR plan you made with Ben, the first program I ever bought. That's dope, dude. Yeah. Ben and I, obstacle dominator. Ben actually messaged me a couple days ago, and that man is an impressive soul. That man is probably one of the most interesting business entrepreneurs in fitness that there is. He didn't just do one thing and do it really well. He did a lot of things and did it very well. And he also does what I think is pretty interesting, which is there's lab science and then there's field science. He does both. I don't do any lab science. I'm not the kind of guy who's going and trying to send in blood work and all this kind of stuff. I have done it a fair amount, but not nearly at the level that he does. This dude's going around the world and getting stuff injected into his penis and getting
and Greenfield is?
Oh yeah, dude. It was actually really, I think it's what made him really popular. He went on Joe Rogan and he talked about the whole experience. He decided to travel around because he's always biohacking, and he became popular because he decided to go down one chapter. And he's like, what's all this information about what's going on with this enhancement of dicks? And whatever, dude, we all have dicks. We're all guys. I'm sure there's a lot of people thinking about what's it like to be enhanced, and he's the guy who went out there and did it. And
dick enhancement.
Yeah, I don't know if it's permanent or whatever, but he went out there and at least tried it. And this guy's very, very clever, and he also is he lives it. He's ripped, he's fit, he does it. So,
would you ever get a Prince Albert?
No. You guys want to hear something funny? My buddy Jason, he got a Prince Albert when he was younger, just to to impress some chicks. And homeboy says that he still has a hole in his penis. He has to put a finger over top of one of the holes, otherwise piss will just spray out all over the place. So no, but I will tell you, I pierced my tongue, my ears, my eyebrow at one point. Yeah, dude, it was stupid. Piercing of the tongue was one of the dumbest things I've ever done. So painful. Just what the fuck was I thinking? It was to impress a girl.
I get it from the reverse side, from the girl side to the guy, but does it stimulate and enhance oral pleasure from the guy to the girl? You know what I mean?
I think that's the whole point of it.
Yeah. But did it?
Listen, I think she was pretty pumped.
Yeah.
I don't know what you want me to say. It's Monday morning, and we're talking about this. Gosh, fuck it. I don't think Mark's coming, so we might as well just go into full details. Yeah, dude. This girl was this gorgeous model. I was living in the University of Montana, and she was into chicks, not into guys. And I used to just hit on her just relentlessly. I was like, come on, let's do this. She's like, shut up. You're a dirty guy. I'm like, that's right. I am a dirty guy.
Dirty daddy.
And one day I just showed up and I had a tongue piercing. I was like, hello. Yeah. And let me tell you, dude, it just took a couple of days for her mind to start spinning with ideas, and this led to that. What do you want me to say? You asked.
Yeah.
You asked, brother.
She's like, put on a wig and it'll be just like the same what I'm actually into.
Hunterella. No. You know what we did is I watched Legends of the Fall yesterday. Have you seen that?
No.
It's
I heard it's a classic chick show though, right? Classic chick movie.
Yeah. I mean,
it's got wait, no, hang on. I think I have watched it, and everyone dies. It's Brad Pitt's in it, right?
It's also really fucked up. The woman who's like the center of the whole movie is like a total hoe. She marries the youngest brother, then she sleeps with the middle brother, then she ends up marrying the older brother, but then she's still trying to make moves on the middle brother. Like,
but then they all die because of a certain disease or something throughout the whole movie, and then you get to know
there's no disease. No disease. You're thinking of the wrong thing. But it's a classic heartthrob, and holy shit, that's Brad Pitt's, like, I think that's his number one thing. You should bring it up on the screen. He literally probably changed the course of the way men looked for decades because of the way he set himself up there. Girls went nuts. I mean, I think it's probably got to be, if they could say, hey, who is the most handsome movie in any movie of all time, they'd say Legend of the Fall, Brad Pitt. And he knocks it out. And like every scene, you try to make him look worse, like they try to, but he just looks like even more handsome because of the new dynamic. It's a great flick also. It's got Anthony Hopkins in it. A-Hop, what up? I should be a movie critic. I thought about that. Are you muted? I think you're freezing. I don't know what's going on.
Now we are.
Yeah. Oh shit. Hold on, dude. You lost it. Bring it back up on the screen. I want to see Brad Pitt.
It's coming.
Oh, yeah. What a train. This is the girl who's the Toho. Yeah, look, come on. Now he's got a beard. Blood. Dude, there's a scene where he hasn't been home in a long time, and he brings these wild horses back. Just somehow wrangles up a bunch of wild horses.
But his destiny had the power to tear them apart.
Look at him there. He's looking all dapper.
Don't talk at me, boys, if I've never seen a war.
Anthony Hopkins, this classic butch dad. Like, even as a soldier in war, he's like model handsome.
Soldiers die.
Soldiers die.
You know you can't make her happy. Go and try. You will fail. You've been nothing but trouble since you came to this house.
Is Anthony Hopkins Irish?
As well as myself.
I don't think so. I think he's just like trying to be like that classic old.
Look at that hair though. That
I know that's what I'm trying to say. Look at him, dude. Even when he's like in like the depths of his insanity on a boat, he's just looking great. If you want to ever feel insignificant, just watch a couple Brad Pitt movies.
Anthony Hopkins.
You know what I haven't watched is Meet Joe Black, and I really want to. I think I know the ending.
Meet Joe Black's good. I can't really remember the storyline, but I do remember being like, that's all right. Let's talk about something interesting. We hit our 1-year anniversary for Builder International, which is rad. And the same day that it came, our new water bottles came, which, look at that. There's our new logo. Look at that little fast guy right there. Where's he going? Guys, classic Stay Thirsty summer edition water bottles. You can't even buy these. You have to find a way to get a hold of me and earn yourself a water bottle.
You know what I think we should do? We should do like a find Mr. Water Bottle, and you go to a random part of the city wherever you're at, because you're always traveling, so this would be great.
Hide it.
We got followers, yeah, and you hide it in the park, like, you know, underneath the twirly go round at the local park where the kids are, and like have, if you want the water bottle, you know, it's got a single serve packet in it, if you have those, and you go find it.
Probably should do something like that.
I think that'd be cool.
Though, if I did it somewhere here in LA, it would just basically be taken over by crackheads. There's just be tons of crackheads.
We're like,
they just fill it up with like Mad Dog 2020. It's my new drinking bottle. I'll get my sip on. Stay thirsty, bitch. Dude, I was waiting for Alex to get here, and I was just hanging out at a Starbucks. Yeah. And holy shit, are the zombies hardcore down here in Venice. They scare the crap out of you.
Dude, I used to go to Venice Beach, and this was probably like 5-6 years ago, maybe 7 years ago. And I was a little bit nervous because, you know, the people that were just nonstop there in their blankets. And then I think they iced out their dog, but then they previewed it like, come see the dog show. And the dog was in like rigor mortis mode, because I think they gave it something to like full-time sleep throughout the day. This is all on Venice Beach.
This is terrifying. How'd you pick up so much over just a small period of time?
You would walk on the S curve of the path. It was like the people that lived there full time. They had their own little thing, along with, you know, you could go in and see the world's tallest man and what's that called? Ripley's Believe It or Not.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
People like created their own show, and it was like, come see my dog that was sleep full time throughout the day, and the dog was like rigid. I was like, they gave that dog something to.
Do you know what's terrifying? I went into the bathroom this morning and I heard this story and I saw it on the toilet paper. People have gotten hepatitis in public bathrooms around here. I think it's hepatitis. Because what will happen is these junkies will take needles and they'll shoot themselves up in the bathrooms, and they'll take the needles and then they'll stab it into the toilet paper to clean it off a little bit. Oh. And I looked at the toilet paper roll, and it had those stains on it. And people don't notice, but they're getting blood infused. And I don't know how this happens, but I saw the guy who came out of the bathroom afterwards, and I was like, and then he was talking all crazy, and then he just passed out on the chair in Starbucks. And I was like, God, this is terrifying. Yeah. And I don't want that guy to be living a bad life by any means, but like that's a common occurrence down here. And now I know that his name's not Schultz. What's the name of the guy who owns Starbucks? He's shutting down a bunch of Starbucks in certain areas because it's just become so bad.
I think they're all moving out of California.
Starbucks?
Yeah, because of that reason.
I don't necessarily blame them, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, the freaking money here. I sat
What's
there.
What's going on with Hollywood Boulevard? Because that used to be fun. I used to go there, see the Chinese theater. And then as you would go progressively outward from the Chinese theater, like the stars would get dirtier and dirtier. But now, like I've seen pictures, and I think it's full on like tent city, like a block outside of that, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why they think this is like a good idea, but it is, man. Like they're just inhabiting it. But I don't know. That's why I stay in Malibu, dude. Like I don't like California other than the two places that I hang out. Even when I was down in San Diego, I just was like, this is just an overpopulated beach town, and you have to experience a ton of traffic just to get close to the sand. And then once you're at the sand, like it's just going to cost you more than anywhere else. And the beaches, in my mind, are not even that great. I grew up on the East Coast in Rhode Island, and the beaches there are so much more beautiful. The water's nicer. The beaches are cleaner. It's a prettier state on the water. And like I live at Malibu on top of a mountain, you know, just because of the training opportunities, and the weather's great. But I wouldn't live in any other city. And then Crestline's just one of these kind of places where it's like rustic and wild. So other than that, though, I would say California is going to hell in a handbasket. And like, I'm not even like a politically heavy person. Like, I don't give a shit about that, even though it's not the greatest. But I will just say, like, the population and the infrastructure of the state is going to heck.
Yeah.
But, and I've also been trying to convince you to move out here. So I don't know if I'm helping myself at all.
All this shitty stuff is going on, but definitely move.
No. I mean, listen, here's the thing. I'm a big believer in your community. Like, my community in Malibu is epic. It really is. And I'm also trying to build a community in Crestline. Like, I'm trying to buy that town up. And I just think that, man, if I could just take over one building and then like have one other thing that I set up, like a gym in there, and take over like a building where we have our warehouse with all of our stuff, shit, it would be nice.
But we drove through town. I'm not seeing a lot of gym goers I see a lot of mountain people.
Yeah, listen, the population there is enormous, though. There's like over 10,000 people in Crestline. There's over 20,000 people in Lake Arrowhead. So within like a 20-mile radius, there's a way bigger population than that of Malibu. And Malibu's got a bunch of gyms. So it may not be the fanciest gym, but it just like would be like steel, like free weight steel, a couple stepping machines.
A lot of hard, like no rubber plates. Like we're going hardcore, old school climbing.
Yeah, dude. That's what I want. You know when you like hit the squat and like the bell rings a little bit. It's like cha-ching. Like
like
that's
this.
the best. That is the best feeling in the entire world. I really I just want to get back to some classic steel weights. Yeah. But I could take that down over in a heartbeat. So if you want to move to Crestline, dude, that's where it's at. Alex is completely integrated with the system.
He's moved in with his girl now.
I know, dude. It's getting pretty official.
Getting sweet.
I know. This is this creepy period of time in your life where when you're at my age, everybody is starting to move in together, and then you're like left looking around, the ones who are still left. And a lot of I know. But the girls at this age, like, some of them are a little crazy.
Yeah.
They're just like, why are you still here? I'm like, what do you mean?
Wouldn't they be asking you the same thing? Why are you still here, bruh?
Well, I had this conversation a couple days ago, and this is going to sound really unfair, but it's just my version of reality. If you meet a man in his mid-30s and he's got good reasons for why he's alone by the time he gets there, like he's been hustling and grinding and building, that makes a lot of fucking sense. It just does. Because in reality, I'm just going to tell you the stats. Men are not getting swooped up by women and taken care of, and they're not homemakers. They are like literally fortune builders and empire chasers and things like that. That's how men are pretty much designed. Women can go and can do it if they want to also. I'm not saying they can't, but primarily it's the man that does it. So I just think about, like, if I see a guy who's in his 30s and he's done like X, Y, and Z, I'm like, holy shit. If you meet a guy who's got a lot of free time in his 30s and he's like, what do you want to do? Let's go do something. I've got all the free time in the world. Like, yeah, there's a reason why that guy's got no one to hang out with, because they figured out that person's not worth jack shit. And they moved on to the next opportunity. You meet a girl in her 30s. I mean, usually if they're in their 30s and up to a certain point, somebody swooped them up. They're like, this is it. This is the little easy bake oven that I'm going to build my bun in. This girl is nice. And like, I've definitely dated a couple girls that have been building empires and taken them a while to get like their shit settled. And that makes total sense. And like, it's just uncommon, at least from what I've witnessed. So I'm not saying I notice when I see a guy in their 30s and they're still grinding. Like, I've been I can give you an exact reason why I am where I'm at. I've been traveling the world for 12 years out of a backpack, racing all over the world, taking on any challenger that I can get my hands on. I've launched 4 businesses in the past couple of years, and I'll admit, it is a narrow lifestyle. It's hard to align yourself with somebody. I look forward to retiring when I'm just able to tell, like, all the ladies, I'm like, all right, back on deck.
Daddy's ready.
Back on deck. Let's answer some of these questions. Classic weight, no AC, fans, Tito Lopez. Dude from the desert wants to come take pictures. Let's get it done. Dylan Dorn, I've offered you to move to Crestline, but you're busy, like, doing whatever the hell you do in the middle of nowhere, Indiana.
Did you know that he alone, in his own mind, put himself on Men's Fitness Health magazine? Manifested.
Did he get in there?
Well, he photoshopped himself, but for all intents and purposes, yes.
Yeah. I mean, good for him, dude. He deserves it. He's got a bod of a god. I've been to Summer Lean Mean since the 12th of June, and I had to do of. Lewis,
I think
don't know.
There may have been a little bit of Google Translator.
I don't know what that means, Lewis, but I appreciate you showing up for the team. I messaged you once about a house gym in Utah. You'd be riding right through town. I mind the bike section of the weekend, so you can become a believer.
You know who else has a huge gym in Utah called Fitness Culture? Is Steve Cook. Have you ever ran into this guy? I feel like you guys have a very similar, like very focused business mindset type of thing. He was a D1 athlete in Utah, got married super early, and then divorced, and now he's found his little Australian beauty. But he's gone from, Men's Health magazine, and I think he won a few bodybuilding competitions, and then got in with First Form, and now he started his own gym, Fitness Culture, in Utah.
I know of the guy. I definitely do. Like all of us probably have like seen pictures of him at some point in time. He's a hustler. I appreciate him. Yeah, I'd love to link up. I would really like to get to the point where I'm able to start to bring in like more people out to Malibu and kind of do these larger get-togethers with people in this generation of fitness and kind of see how we can help each other out, because I think that's the best way we're going to move things forward, is understand how we're growing each other's businesses. Like, I'm not competitive with him, and I like what he's doing a lot. I think he's a badass. Dude was buff as fuck. Still is buff.
Yeah.
But I'll pass by him. I think we go through St. George to get to him. If anybody's listening to this, guys,
that's where the thing is St. George.
Yeah, I would say, like, if we don't start in St. George, we start in Damascus, or not Damascus. We start in Duchesne. Can you look up Duchesne? Look up Duchesne. Duchesne, Utah. That's where we're starting this bad boy. Duchesne, Utah. Wow, that came up really quickly. Okay, Starvation Lake. Where the fuck is this?
And it's called Starvation. My dad asked. He goes, "Is this called starvation because you aren't allowed to eat?" Which makes a lot of sense.
It does make sense. I think we're basically going. So it's actually farther. Fuck, this is going to be a drive. From right here, it's 10 hours of a drive. Oof. I go through Vegas, and then I go through St. George. So I am going through St. George, then Cedar City, Beaver, Ephraim, Nephi, Spanish Fork, right down to the Duchesnes. Yeah. So I'm probably going to stop in Vegas. I say, Alex, do you want, I'll give you 500 and you give me 500. No, I'll give you 500 and we'll both, you put it down on black and I'll put it down on red. That way we have our bases covered.
Yeah, but then there's that 2% chance of green, and green is 00.
Okay. Whatever. Quit being negative. You fuck.
There's you got 98% chance of those red and black. And then guess what happens if you hit if the number on the dial hits the number that you put the coins on? Holy payout.
I would play craps, dude. This is my homie from Golf's Aggressive TV. Yeah, the mindset about the women thing is it's a challenging thing that you have to encounter at a certain point if you are going to make the separation of being from like good to great. And I want to be fucking great. I want to be the greatest. I think about that all the time. And I think about, like, I have to have these conversations with myself. Like, what do I have to filter out of my life to get where I'm going? Because understandably, when things get really fast, if you guys just look at the metrics, the most important thing is learning about weight distribution and just how light and how powerful you can get. And what do you have to do? You have to pull out the junk so that you can get up to speed faster, last longer, be more efficient when you get there. And hopefully once you get through there and you go and do all these really incredible things and hustle your ass off, when you do build your fortress and your family, you're able to create this incredible bond with them because you've worked your ass off and you don't have to go into the office all the time. Like my dad and I didn't have very much of a relationship when I was younger because my dad was working all the time. And that's one way to go handle things. And I respect that. But I don't want to be like that. Shit, my dad would fly all around the world and I just wouldn't catch him often, a lot of the time. And then, hopefully you've built this mindset and this ethos where you're able to raise a family and you're able to teach them such great things and be able to really build the team that you've always wanted. And hopefully you meet a queen along the way that really respects that and understands you. I think that's really the most important thing you can do is find somebody who trusts the direction that you're going in is the direction that we should all be going in. And if you can put your trust, whether that's in a relationship, friendship, business-ship, whatever the heck it is, like that's super important. You should be able to have conversations where you're able to break that down with those people, but do not put doubt in the person who's in the front. You know what I mean? Like that sled dog that's in the front is there for a reason because they're pulling with a certain level of energy and ferocity that the rest of the people are able to fall in line, be able to follow in their footsteps, and be able to really go that extra mile. You're trying to be a Balto motherfucker. All right. So
Balto, the cartoon race dog?
Dude, that's a real dog.
Oh, it was? Okay.
Yeah, that's the whole story
Disney version.
Yeah, we could talk about this for a second. Dylan wanted to bring up McGregor has this race coming up. I'm going to reach out to their team and see if there's some value in that thing because I'd be pumped to go race with McGregor because I bet you'll show up. And it's kind of like a High Rocks without any of the running. I beat the living piss out of everybody, and I'd be down for that. Yeah, I'd be really down for that. It's interesting. I don't know what they're trying to accomplish there because it's kind of just like High Rocks without the running. So I don't know who sat down and created this thing, but you'd have to really be like, I thought like you could have came up with something a little bit more interesting and dynamic, trying to insult them. We'll figure it out when we get there. It might be just their first iteration, and I'm willing to support and take their money. Yeah. Let's wrap this thing up pretty soon. I wanted to go over what we got coming up next. We got Starvation Triathlon. That's going to be badass. If you guys are in the area and you want to help support, we definitely need some help, with what we're doing. More bodies, the merrier. That reminds me, we probably
got a race crew.
Yeah, we kind of do, but you know how it is, dude. Like we had 30 people signed up to be volunteers at the first Battle Bunker event that we did, and then 5 people showed up the next day.
Yeah, but you need 100% people that are going to be at these stopping points to like refuel your bags and shit.
Trust me, dude. Like when I say that, I know. I'm like, fuck. Yeah. So, I mean, we got Alex and everything. Like I will strap Alex up with food and he's going to be filming. He's got bikes and everything like that. So like, we'll make sure that at the bare minimum, I've got just enough to get through. And then after that, we are going to Copenhagen for the Ironman. That's where I got to break 10:25. And then the next part is we have our Forders competition. That's going to be really badass. Team Builder is going to beat the shit out of my zone and a couple of the other teams. And then I'm going to take all their straps. I'm going to burn them in a trash can fire. And,
Tom and Dean are sponsored by my zone.
No, they're off the team.
Oh,
they're off the team. My zone is a little bit territorial, which is a terrible idea because you guys are a bunch of people with heart rate straps and I've got a bunch of people jacked up on pre-workout. You're going to lose every fucking time. All right? So you might as well use those heart rate straps. Go get them to a pawn shop, buy yourself some tickets and get the fuck away from me because we're going to whoop your ass. Other than that,
busy on that pre-workout when I get it.
Yeah, you can't have any. And then other than that, we have the end of summer party for Builder and everybody else involved. So that's a full schedule. Everything's still coming together, but what it's going to look like is we're going to do a road race in the morning. Holly's going to be running it. Then we're going to do a workout at one of the top gyms in London. Then we're going to do kind of like a yoga rejuvenation kind of experience. Then we are going to go to the bathhouses in the afternoon, evening. And then we are going to go to axe throwing where we're going to party. And after that, we are going to get
like drinking and throwing steel metal at wood.
Listen, bud, if they could do it back in the day, we might as well still have those skill sets now. And then beyond that, we're going to throw a ripper of a night party. Ooh. And I love London. Like, it's just one of those kind of cities where I was designed for it. Let's cover up some of these notes before we tap out of here. And then I got to come back and we have to get ready for Battle Bunker. That's going to be a dog of a fight. If you guys are coming to compete in that, I wish you luck. I think he is probably trying to.
How do you think you would fare with the people that are in there right now? Yeah,
mop the floor with them.
I saw you try to. I saw you try to hang clean that 160-pound sandbag, and Caleb Yates looked a little bit more clean on that clean.
Listen, that was in the depths of my depravity where I was literally there was parasites eating my insides out.
I get you.
Don't you talk shit.
Sorry.
No, I get that. Yeah, the fast thing is going to be interesting. I don't know what the heck he's planning on doing with that promotion. I don't think that's the smartest way to promote fitness, by the way. But it's okay. Daddy, basically creating an event to promote a fitness program. It's ass backwards.
Oh, McGregor, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look this up. Takes lead in is it the catamaran sail races?
What are you talking about?
I typed in what is the new McGregor race event, and there's a whole bunch of stuff.
Type in McGregor Fast. That's his whole program thing. Mark, it was so good having you on the show today.
Thanks.
I'm your biggest fan. Okay, Hunter, what was your first High Rocks time? It was 60 minutes and 4 seconds, I think. And then, am I competing at Battle Bunker? No, I am not. I'm the race director. I create all the workouts, baby. In this noggin of mine, I have created what will probably be considered one of the greatest tests in human history. And it's going to be the most dynamic and interesting thing that you guys have witnessed. So I've got so much work to get done. Austin, obviously, the founder of the company, is a massive part of this as well. We have so much stuff to get done to get all these pieces to come together for this really extreme event that we have coming up. Do my hands look tiny? What's going on here?
I don't know what to do with my hands. Just put them at your side, Ricky.
Yeah. So this Connor thing, like, they have a competition coming up, but if you look it up, like, I'm just confused. Their events. Yeah. See, look at find my event, learn more. Click learn more.
We're getting there. See if
I just don't want to say
load.
anything bad that they're all of a sudden now going to not be excited about me showing up, but it really looks like it's just High Rocks without the running.
Okay, here we go. Share screen. I know. Well, when it loads to a new page, it doesn't like to load to the next screen.
Yeah, man, your technology, and then find an event. Let's scroll down here a little bit.
We hit the lab to create an ultimate fitness competition. We need Tom in here to read this. 3KO Los Angeles, Dallas, Miami.
Well,
here you go.
Where's the event details? Event format. Here we go.
Yeah.
Okay, so assault runner, I think you do 1,000, and then you do 1,000 on the rower and then the bike. Okay, but you go ball toss. So that's okay. So assault runner, ball toss, overhead carry, sandbag lunges, assault rower, D-bag carry, squat ladder, reverse bear crawl, assault bike, burpee broad jump, sled push, sled pull, suicide run. I'm going to be real with you. This is exactly what High Rocks is. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I probably just did a little bit of like studying and recognize that, like, DecaFit's cruising pretty easily and they're doing decently well. Is it ever going to be extremely competitive? I don't think so. Unfortunately.
Oh, this is what you're looking for, the Trinity knot.
What is the Trinity knot? What is that?
This is what you win. 3 events in the core zones: McGregor Fast, Power, Strength, and Endurance.
Interesting.
You receive this token. And look at this. He's got his own fitness app. Well, don't you know? I think this could seriously compete with Deca. Because I think High Rock still has its own thing that they still haven't budged from the we aren't going to do anything that differentiates from the running aspect. And DECA's like, fuck it, we don't care about the running. Let's add an event that's just the strength movements only. And so this is a direct competitor of a DECA thing.
They may be able to get people to show up to it like once or twice, but
you think this the
getting
train 3K
lifelong, yeah, getting people that are like invested into it, like Ironman or High Rocks, where it's something that's larger. It's more of a challenge. It's more of an investment. You know, that's why.
Yeah, but I think this is good for the weekend warrior. Like, hey, my couch to 3KO in 60 days. So it's the dad and mom that haven't worked out since high school years. I'm gonna get fit. I'm gonna try this, and they're able to do it in about 60 days. Get fit, and they can do one of these competitions.
Yeah, I'm just telling you, man. Like after being in this industry for a decade, it's just it's thin. I bet you their numbers are not going to be as big as you think they are.
You're going to get them. What you're saying is you're going to get them from the one round, but you aren't going to get the investment of I'm going to dedicate my life to this and have the year after year hardcore pillaging towards trying to
yeah.
It's
not a good. It's tough. It's really tough. It's got to be more unique. It's got to be more media driven. It's got to be, I don't know. It's just not going to hit it. I don't think High Rocks is going to change its format. I think they may introduce new formats, but they're going to keep their classic the same way Ironman's always been the same.
Yeah.
So, and that makes sense. It makes sense. I think they're going to really have this epic opportunity where they're going to travel around the globe for another 24 months, and then they're going to hit their cap, and then they're going to have to find new ways to engage their audience.
Well, they have this whole GoRuck division that they've only offered in the States. So now that they've got 1 year of data and stats, don't you think they can filter that out and to now introduce that to the other countries?
No.
No?
No, I think that will probably be less than 10% of their signups, if less than 5. It's just too crazy. Takes too long to run them on the course like that. It's extra heavy. It's a lot to manage.
Yeah.
For something like a marathon, you're not dealing with equipment and timing. Like you're just dealing with people running 26 miles and then like cleaning it up as they go. Like, we're literally breaking things down after the last runner. As far as like sending people through the GoRuck wave, that's going to be the longest wave. And, it's a lot of a time suck.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of profitability in it. Nothing wrong with a GoRuck. I'm actually amazed by the growth of GoRuck. I just hear like everybody talking about GoRuck and walking with weight. It's just like, why not run? And they're like, rucking, putting weight on you is better. And it's like, to a degree, you're better to run and lift weights than you are to ruck. You should build your oxidative pathways and become more efficient, aka running. You should build your muscular strength, aka lifting. Build yourself a bigger metabolism. The in between, it's unnecessary. It's cool. It's not necessary. Like I'd rather walk than ruck. I don't want like weight bearing on my spine all the time. They've shown after so many years that they basically destroyed people's backs in the military through making these people do lots of rucking material. And there's like almost nobody I know has come out of the military without some form of injury because it's just like very, very poorly maintained and very high intensity workouts that they put these guys through. So rucking, not top of my list.
Here we go. Daddy to the type 1 diabetes, to my type 1 diabetic son and daughter. Or do you enjoy the Miko's Triangle workout? Sounds like Ryan needs to load this up.
But I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what the heck that is. All right, guys, we've been rocking this thing for an hour. And
1 minute row, 1 minute ski erg, 1 minute assault bike, 1 minute rest. Set a single number of calories and complete the amount of work each minute.
That's It's whatever. If you guys want to know the hardest workout that I've got, it's called Don't Let Go. And you have to hit 22 calorie ski, then 22 calorie bike. So minute 1 is 22 calorie ski. Minute 2 is 22 calorie bike. You got to hold it for 20 minutes. I've made it to 30 and it fucking nearly killed me. And I've never met anybody who's ever made it to 20. It's obviously
every minute you're hitting 20 cal.
Yeah.
And each
22.
Wow.
It's designed for bigger athletes, but by the time you get to 20 minutes, the bigger athletes can't hold on. So they start to fall off. So a bigger athlete will have an easier time getting started, and then like a leaner athlete, which will have an easier time holding on. So yeah, Don't Let Go is by far the hardest workout that I have. I've only failed it once, and it was right after I did the Ironman. I had no horsepower left. So guys, I had such a great time interviewing Mark Allen today. He was an absolute pleasure to have on the show, and he's incredible, super inspiring. Mark, I'm just giving you shit. I hope to have you back in here. Bummer that the timing didn't line up, and I don't know what happened to you, but homeboy, I guess, just went missing. Ryan, anything you got to say?
No. Be kind. LEO, love each other.
All right, Ryan, stay off the stimulants, brother.
You got it, sir.
Guys, thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you.
All right. Later.
Adios, muchach.